Hey, I'm Wendy Hilton. I am one of the owners of Hip Homeschool Moms and Homeschool Road Trips, and I'm here today with two ladies, Annette and Jody, and they're going to talk to us a little bit about Inseego and a MiFi device and how we can use that in our homeschools. So first, I'm going to let these ladies introduce themselves, and then I'll talk a little bit about how homeschoolers use technology, and then we'll get into some more specific questions. So if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Super, Jody, take it away.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jody Ellis here in San Diego, California. I have been in the wireless space for over 20 years and mostly in product design and development, most recently in product marketing. I'm a mom of a 9-year-old fourth grader who is in the other room on her Zoom right now. Annette?
I'm also based in San Diego, born and raised, and I am also a mom of a 7-year-old, and he is away at camp, if you will. He just started his first day of school camp. We'll see how that goes. And I've been in the wireless space for about as long as Jody on the marketing side primarily.
Okay, so you ladies have already started out making me feel really old. My kids are 25, 23, and my baby is 17. So I'm down to my last homeschooler. This is our last year of homeschooling. And then I think I'm going to have to recruit. I have two sisters who have younger kids. So I guess I'm going to have to take one of them if I want to continue my homeschooling career. So
Nice.
we'll see.
Yeah.
That's incredible. My sister did homeschooling with her kids. They did an around the world trip for a year.
Oh, wow.
And she did it, I think it was about 3 years ago that she did it. And she said it was the best move that she made as far as her children excelling in their level. And she actually wishes she was still doing it, but she just can't because of work demands.
Well, and that's one of the things too that we want to talk about is the ways homeschoolers use technology and why technology is important. Of course, there are lots and lots of things that we as homeschoolers do that don't involve technology. You know, we do a lot of reading. We do a lot of playing games. We do a lot of things like nature walks and activities, hands-on activities and things like that. But honestly, even with those activities, you can involve technology. For example, if you go camping, you can print nature walk information and printable scavenger hunts, things like that, that you can use while you're traveling, whether you're traveling away or whether you're, you know, in your own local area, just taking a walk around the neighborhood, those kinds of things. And then two, a lot of homeschoolers use online classes. I know as my kids got to be high school ages, they did more online classes because I wanted them to start kind of getting a feel for how it was to be accountable to somebody else besides me and to have certain deadlines, to get a little stricter about grades, things like that. So there are fun ways that homeschoolers use technology, but there are also some really practical ways to use it, whether our kids are younger and then especially as they get older. So I wanted to talk to you ladies a little bit today about, first, I think we'll talk about access to high-speed internet. You would think that in this day and time that everybody would have access to great high-speed internet, and that's just not the case. In fact, it's often not the case. So can you ladies tell us a little bit about, first, what options are there available for parents who live in areas that just don't have great internet?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because there have been numbers flying around that vary from 14 million to 25 million. And it's become more prominent, you know, as far as being in the spotlight, just with all of the distance learning and pandemic issues that we're in right now. But, you know, on average, I think the FCC is saying there's about 21 million folks in the United States that do not have broadband internet. I know, and it's crazy. And in fact, there's an independent study that reveals that that number is actually 2x. So just kind of, you know, in the middle is pretty compelling. And about 15% of the US households have students, and those students don't have an internet connection. So what I have been learning is that throughout the entire country, it really does take a village, right? So communities are coming together and they're finding new and unique ways to provide some sort of access to children, whether it's through, the use of a mobile hotspot like ours, where libraries will have some sort of checkout program, or there will be community outreach that offer a similar setup where you use a MiFi mobile hotspot and they check it out for a period of time and it's a shared resource. They also have schools that are extending their Wi-Fi range for families to come in their vehicles and use the Wi-Fi at the school. But there is also something interesting that I saw recently, that PBS and a couple of other local stations are offering programming that is aligned with the curriculum of that state or that school district. Mm-hmm. That was a new one for me. But for the most part, I know we're even seeing buses that are outfitted with MiFi mobile hotspots and mm-hmm. other sort of internet access. So there are different ways that they're trying to get connectivity into the hands of students. And it's really impressive. And actually, it's really humbling.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things I think, obviously we are able to, to use our workbooks and textbooks and our books and, like I already mentioned, nature walks and just different, even educational games and hands-on activities and things like that. But it's really important for our kids to have access to good internet, because one of the things, even we homeschoolers right now, I know obviously kids who go to public or private schools that are doing distance learning right now, they have to have that good internet access in order to be able to keep up with their classes and things. But even we homeschoolers right now can't often can't go on field trips. We can't, those who participate in co-ops can't go to their co-op meetings. Those who have book clubs and those sorts of things are not able to participate in those things. But with good internet access, those things that we previously could do in real life, go to a meeting and have a book club together or have a co-op class together. Well, a lot of us are not able to do those things right now. So even those of us who think, well, maybe I don't really necessarily have to have internet access right now. Well, if we want to be able to continue those kinds of meetings and activities and things, sometimes right at this moment, that's our only option. We really don't have an in real life option at this moment. Yeah. So those are things that we need to consider too.
And even socially, right? It gives the children a chance to socialize with their peers, but also there are so many students that are involved in STEM and STEAM courses, right. And they require internet access in order to try out all the different things, whether it's virtual reality or, coding, you name it.
Right.
They can't do that from a textbook.
Right. That's absolutely right. And we're big proponents of doing lots of hands-on activities. And so if, for example, if I'm going to do a science lab with a group of homeschool kids, we may not right now all have the opportunity to get together and do that science lab together, but I can at least present that science experiment and the kids can still see what I'm doing. And through a meeting like this, they can even interact and ask questions and things like that. So it still brings that social aspect back into what they're doing, even if we're not all physically meeting together, because we mm-hmm. do use co-ops and play days and field trips and things like that, not only for the social part of it, but also for the academic part of it.
Right.
So I have a question for you, and you ladies will know much better than I do the answer to this question. What is the difference in using your phone as a hotspot and in actually having a MiFi device? Because many of us have internet in our homes. It may not be fantastic, but we have it. And then some of us can use our phones as mobile hotspots. So what's the difference in this device and then, our home internet or our hotspots on our phones?
Yeah, I can take that. So it is a very convenient feature to have hotspot and your phone And I'd say it's great for kind of a one-off on the fly, connect, get something super fast off of a tablet or a laptop. But there's things you might not know about your plan with your carrier and how much data you're actually allotted using your phone as a hotspot. So you may face issues later down in your billing cycle because now you're being throttled on your data when you're trying to use it as a phone because you didn't realize that when you downloaded that file or you downloaded that video at the beginning of your billing cycle that it actually consumed all of your data. So there's just these things that you just don't know because they don't really advertise that. It's, again, a very convenient feature, but I wouldn't use it regularly. I wouldn't rely on it because also you're using up your battery, and your primary use case for your phone is really to make phone calls, text messages, stay in communication. And if you're going to be someone, try to use it as a hotspot, you may not have it very much longer for that day, and you're going to be like, dang it, I wish I didn't use it earlier as a hotspot.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's my take on it.
Well, and some of us have learned that the hard way, or maybe our kids have learned that the hard way.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
My kid turned my mobile hotspot on my phone and I didn't even realize. And
Oh,
there was zero security on it. And I kept wondering, why is my battery dying so quickly? Why is my phone so hot? Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, it's definitely not designed to sustain long-term data, right? So your phone is this very thin, compact device, and it's really designed for that voice feature,
yeah,
whereas a mobile hotspot is really designed for data. It is a data device, and it's going
right.
to give you the best performance, the best security, and really be kind of you need for usage.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
our
So
Verizon mobile
essentially,
hotspot
yeah.
right here.
What I was going to say, it's really not a
Yeah.
whole lot bigger than a phone, so it's convenient to take with you. But
Hmm.
in other words, the purpose is really just a little bit different. This one's purpose is to provide you with that internet access when you need it. And our phones really, the main purpose is more for phone calls and text messages and things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that it's not a convenient feature, but long-term use and relying on it definitely wouldn't be the best
Yeah.
case.
Right, right. Well, that makes
Like if
sense. That
you're in a
makes sense.
pinch, right? You need
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
send a email that has a presentation attached to it. That's just a quick 5-10 minutes and then you're done. But beyond
Yep.
that, it gets dicey.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, and that does make sense, and especially if you're out and you want to use it for a field trip, or if you want to use it for a co-op class or something that's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be a little more extended, a little longer
Mhm.
time period, then that really could be a huge drain on your data fast.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question for you about um, is there a difference between your Inseego MiFi, because that's what we're talking about today, and others that are on the market? What can you tell us about yours specifically that we might want to know, as because homeschoolers try to be thrifty, we want to save money, we want to use our money the best ways we can, and we want to teach our kids that too. So tell us why we might specifically choose to use Inseego as opposed to something cheaper for those of us who try to be frugal.
Yeah. You want me to take that in it?
Yeah.
So our product is really designed for the best security. We put security at the forefront of all of our product development. So if you're making sure that you have a secure connection, that your kids are kept safe, the data that you transfer to and from your kids, what they're downloading from the internet, there are controls that you can put actually on the device, much like you can do on your home network. So you can block certain sites, you can block devices. You have a really next level set of controls here to really kind of protect that, put that force field around your kids and what they're working on. So I think that's number one. Performance. We have an amazing team of engineers here in San Diego and around the world who really are just perfectionists when it comes to performance. So see issues. You're going to have a good connection really wherever you are. And we've done side-by-side testing in the field, and we really stand behind that. So you're not going to get frustrated when you're out there, and you're not going to feel like let down by your mobile hotspot because you're really going to have that high-performing device. And then really usability. I mean, we put a lot into the user experience of our device. So again, that goes into having confidence in connecting wherever you are, and just feeling like it's a no-brainer. Like this, as long as this is on, it can be in your purse, it can be in your backpack, wherever it is. When you turn on your tablet or your laptop, it's automatically going to connect, and it's going to be just like that home experience where everything is just connected and working, and you really don't have to worry about it.
I love the safety features because many of us who homeschool, obviously, I homeschooled. I have 2 homeschool graduates that I homeschooled from the very beginning. And then my last one is a senior in our homeschool this year. And especially as our kids are younger, most of us try, just like any other parents, to make sure that our kids are super safe and super secure. We don't want them to accidentally, transmit information that doesn't need to be transmitted. We don't
Right.
want, if we're doing financial transactions or things like that, we don't want any of those things to accidentally get into the wrong hands, because unfortunately that's something we have to think about nowadays. We want our kids and ourselves to be safe when we're using the internet, and I know that is a big concern. I was talking with some folks from Jellystone Parks the other day about making camping educational, and a lot of campsites don't provide internet access. And so this device we can take with us, and then we can use that for those educational activities and stuff while we're out and about. And we don't have to worry every minute about public Wi-Fi and is it going to be safe, or our kids going to be safe? Is our information going to be safe? So I
Exactly.
really love
It's
that.
interesting.
That, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jody.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, what's an interesting stat is the FCC during the pandemic have issued multiple statements alerting consumers about the increased vulnerability risks of children in particular. And they themselves are encouraging families to source some sort of, SIPA compliant or some sort of device that enables SIPA compliance for internet access. Because what's happening is, and again, it's so great that these communities are coming together to offer these, Wi-Fi hotspots, if you will. But a lot of these Wi-Fi hotspots, to your point, are public.
Hmm.
And so kids are just, they're running wide open at that point. They don't know. And the parents also don't always know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our kids, I always say, our kids are not afraid of making mistakes on the internet. They're not afraid of using these devices because they don't understand how serious it is if information gets in the wrong hands. They don't understand how hard it can be to undo the damage when those kinds of things happen. And they don't know, they're not financially responsible if a device, gets hacked or something like that, because we, the parents, are the ones who are undoing all that damage that the kids did. It's not really their responsibility. And some of them just aren't old enough to kind of understand that yet. Now, as our kids get older, of course, that's something we want them to learn about and understand. But the best way to teach them, I feel like, is to show them the ideal way to do things, the best way you can do things, and kind of teach them as they grow up. Well, we want to stay safe. We don't want to wait until there's a problem and then say, oh, gee, I should have done it this way.
Yeah.
So
batten down the hatches from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's our job as parents, whether we homeschool or whether our kids go to public school or private school. Our job is to teach them and train them as they grow up, so that when they become adults, they'll already have the information they need to make good decisions. That's what we do. And
Absolutely.
so I feel like the safety features are super important, and I really love those. So I think that's something that, I don't know if I would have really thought about comparing the safety features.
Yeah.
Had that not been
Definitely
something.
Jody and I worked on a project not that long ago, Jody, remember? And we were looking at the lower end devices, and we did that comparison. I don't know if you want to touch a tiny bit on that, but it was pretty compelling, because I understand your point. I mean, you do want to be cognizant of the costs that go into it, although many operators now offer great deals. But Jody, could you maybe want to educate them about, why the lower end devices cost what they cost from a speed and security perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the best way to put it, it's like the lower end devices, the more affordable devices might be like a 2-lane highway, right? So you can only get so many cars on. And when you have multiple children and parents and people on that highway, it starts to get just like traffic jam, right? And the devices like we have, our MiFis, and the more advanced devices, I would say, are like a 5-6 lane superhighway. So you just get a lot more bandwidth on that type of device. So, and it's like flowing freely, right? So even if you have the same number of people, the same number of children, the same amount of activity going on, it's going to flow more freely, it's more secure, it's just a better experience. That's kind of the best visual way I put it, is those low end devices, they're low end for a reason. They're a couple of generations of specifications, I would say, behind where we're at today with our Inseego MiFis.
Well, and that makes sense. And I know Trish and I, the other owner of Hip Homeschool Moms, we talk to a lot of moms, and more homeschooling moms are also working moms. And right now we know lots of us, I already worked from home, Trish already worked from home, and a lot of homeschooling moms do have the opportunity to work from home. So that means mom is working from home using the internet. And that also means that they may have 2 or 3 kids who are doing online classes, who are doing Zoom meetings for things that they used to be able to do in real life that they can't now. So that's an extra stress on their internet that that they may not be prepared for right now, especially those that live in more rural areas. So are you saying this could be something that those parents could supplement with? Like at my house, I have internet, but my internet's not good enough for everybody in the family to all be on it using it at the same
Oh,
time.
absolutely. And I mean, it's not even that alone. It's what you don't even know. If your kid leaves the TV on streaming Netflix, that's using part of your data. They may not even know it. They've left the room. They're over there and they're at their desk doing their class Zoom.
They don't care. Yeah.
Netflix is
No, they don't.
streaming. Alexa's playing music, and then there's a phone over here that was left on YouTube. All of that is consuming your data pipe
Yeah.
that you have in your house, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah.
So I tend to turn to my own dedicated network here just because of that reason. Like my kid can be doing whatever she's doing on that home network. As long as I have my hotspot, I'm not really affected.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like whoever's got the most important thing going on, have that dedicated network and really sure that you're secure. You're not going to drop your call and you're not going to lose out here right now. So
Right. I love that, because you're right. That's true. Our kids don't even think about the amount that they're using. Sometimes we don't either. We're busy working and we just don't think about it.
Right.
Well, and there's so many connected devices in your home. The light switches now, the refrigerators, like you name it, everything has Wi-Fi. Well, guess what? All of that is taking up little bits and pieces of your Wi-Fi network all the time.
That adds up.
Yeah.
That adds up. Okay, we'll be out of time in just a couple of minutes. So I have a question about what advice do you have for families who want to use their MiFi on the road? Are there things that we might not even know to think about that we need to consider as far as using it while we're traveling?
It's pretty simple. I mean, it is literally, like I said, you have on, as long as you charge it up, it does run on a battery. You can expect to be connected all day long wherever you are. So you take it with you, you take it out if you're driving across the country and you get to your next stop and you want to go out hiking and adventuring around, but you want to use, you know, maybe a tutorial from a website, or there's an app that needs data. You know, you can have your tablet, you can connect it to your mobile hotspot, and you can be out wandering around, and it's really, you don't have to think about it. It's just on, devices connect to it, and you're good to go. It also actually has a feature where you can use it to charge your smartphones and tablets. So when you're in a bind, you can use it as a battery backup. So that was kind of a feature we put in a couple generations ago.
Oh, that's really convenient for those of us who
handy tool.
Forget to charge our phones.
Yep.
So how long does this device have to charge before it's fully charged?
Just a couple hours. We actually have a quick charge feature on the device. So you can get up to, I believe it's like 85 or 90% battery capacity in less than 45 minutes.
Oh, that's
And
great.
then, it kind of charges up the rest of the way. So you can be up and going very, very quickly. It's great. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be on for hours.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. I try to remember to charge mine, but if we're out somewhere and we decide to go on a hike, or we decide to, float the river, or
Oh,
just
yeah.
to, to
Or your
go on a
kid
walk around
grabs
the
your
park.
phone. Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing it has too, we have a sleep feature. So we know that's going to happen. So after a certain amount of inactivity, and that's a user settable feature, the device will go into sleep mode. So you won't even know that it's doing that for you and conserving the battery. And then it would go even into a deep sleep mode where it just kind of is basically off for you. And so you've got battery for days.
Oh, I love
But
that.
what's also great too is, each device has its own unique password. But let's just say, just like you are at home, your kids are abusing their own personal devices for whatever reason that they're using them, right? Games, Roblox, you name it. On the device itself, you can kick them off. What's
love
that? I don't
that.
know what that feature is called,
Block.
Jody, but
Device block.
yeah, Jody has been, she has conceptualized these Wi-Fi devices for generations. And as a mom, she found all of these really great features that she realized needed to be included. So that's why, she's so knowledgeable about it, because this is her baby. She's like, yeah, I need something in here that can just shut my daughter off of Roblox right now.
Block.
Or whatever. Yeah.
But see, that's great, because a lot of times we parents, it really kind of takes the stress out of it. Then it's just like, well, I think the Myfi is not working right now.
Yeah,
We'll have to do something else for a little
to
while.
charge it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Sometimes it just takes a mom who's been there and done that to think of these little features and things that are sort of the little extras that we appreciate once we have them, that we wouldn't even know to research as we're researching what device that we want to use. But something like that's really pretty fantastic for parents. So I like it. I like it. Okay. Well, I appreciate you ladies so much for chatting with me today.
Definitely.
And I appreciate you taking your time. And for the moms who are out there who are watching, I'd like to say, in this article, you can find some links and information about ways to use technology in your homeschool, more information about that. And then if you have questions, you can leave us questions, and I can ask these knowledgeable ladies and add that information in the comments or whatever we need to do. But thank you, ladies, so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. It was very nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Had a great time. All right.
Me too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.